So as Scott indicated, this actually started many years ago, even before I met Scott. Prior to coming back to academia, I worked at Emerson Electric for 14 years. And early on there in the late 80s and early 90s, I started to play around with AI, neural networks, machine learning. And at that time, it took us about 3 years just to teach the machine to do anything. So, and then over the years, I had some graduate students that gave some papers and thesis on wrapping papers and so on, if you're familiar with machine learning. And then, but my home is really in sustainability. And so when I think about how much energy AI is using and how much resources, it kind of makes me cringe a little bit. But then I came back to academia, and I won't go through my history there, but I joined NIU about 2 years ago as the Dean for the College of Engineering, and I'm all about student success. When a student comes to any engineering college in the United States, only 40% of those students will graduate with an engineering degree. 60% of them are going to go to the business college or just drop out altogether. The primary reason for that attrition is calculus. All right, that's really it. It's really about calculus. And so when I came to NIU, I reached out to Scott and said, Scott, I want to build an AI tutor. I don't want it to be a ChatGPT. I want it to do what a human tutor does. And we've been working on a couple of different initiatives. So one of the things we're going to talk about is how we assessed it, as well as I'm going to just go do one live example. Now, as we assessed it, one of the things that we didn't end up doing was we looked at trigonometry, calculus, and physics, knowing that calculus was the one that we really focused on because that is really the attrition of students in higher education and engineering. And we're in the process of finalizing some in trigonometry and physics as some of the other areas. Now, the areas that we only looked at were right now student perception, acceptance. Right? We are in the process of looking at student outcomes. The reason there's a delay on that, has anybody ever done human studies? The amount of paperwork and prerequisites and approval it takes to do just what a student assessment is incredible. So we finally got through the approval process, but right now I'll go to the next slide and we'll go over what we found. We compared our AI tutor to that of a human tutor, and we see that the AI tutor does a little bit better. So the old theory, do no harm. So our AI tutor, and the way we assess this is we gave this to human tutors. All right, I got a student success center downstairs. There's 10, 15 tutors down there. When they weren't tutoring, instead of them sitting there playing on their phone, we told them, go assess this thing, play with it, try to break it, try to make it not work, and give me a report. And what they found was that about 84% of the time, the tutor was able to get to the correct answer. If you Google it, if you use AI, ChatGPT, somewhere in there, you'll find that human tutors are only about 80%. So we're about the same accuracy and level and so on. And so really good acceptance. And if we go to the next slide, we start asking some other questions about how did you like it? Would you recommend it to friends? And we found it overwhelmingly that they liked it and they would use it to recommend it to other friends. Now, some of the chat or some of the comments on this survey was kind of interesting. I'd rather use ChatGPT, right? And that's the easy way, right? And I can ask ChatGPT to, give me the answer, and ChatGPT will give you the answer. The tutor is designed not to do that. It is supposed to behave like a human tutor and ask you questions, be encouraging. When me and Scott were playing around with it, we took out some of the prompts and said, don't be nice, be mean. And that was kind of fun to listen to the chat bot be mean to the students and so on. I can kind of imagine some of my faculty are probably more of that mode than others. Are we ready? Hello?
Hey there. Hi there. What's your name?
Dave.
Hi, Dave. Hi. Great to meet you, Dave. I'm your AI tutor, and I'm here to help you with calculus. Just a heads up, I'm really smart, but I can make mistakes, just like a human tutor. So always double check what you learn with your professors and tutors. Would you like to learn more about my capabilities and how to best use the AI tutor?
No, I would like to get some help on a proof.
Got it, Dave. Sure, let's dive into that proof. What's the proof you're working on?
I'm looking on a limit problem where x approaches 2, and the function is x squared minus 1, all divided by x minus 1, equals 2. How would I prove that?
Let's start step by step. How would you approach this limit problem first?
I would put x equal to 2 into the equation.
Great idea. Let's test that. What do you get when you plug in x equals 2?
I get 0 divided by 0.
Exactly. You get 0 over 0. That's an indeterminate form. What's your next idea to handle that?
Could I factor something?
Yes, that's a great next step. What part of the expression could you factor?
Could I factor x squared minus 1 into x minus 1 all multiplied by x plus 1?
Exactly. That's the right factorization. Now, what can you do with that factorization?
Then I could divide both sides by x minus 1 so that I only have x plus 1 remaining.
Perfect. Now you're left with a simpler expression, x plus 1. What's the next step to find the limit?
And then substitute in my x value of 1.
Almost there. Remember, the limit is as x approaches 2. What happens when you substitute x equals 2 into the simplified expression?
I get 1.
Double check that. What's 2 plus 1?
3.
Exactly.
Let's stop it here. I did that purposely because early on, when I was working with Scott, it didn't do arithmetic very well. And often I would find a mistake and then ask it, oh, yeah, you're right. So we have a number of different versions of this, one for physics. Some of the challenging parts of physics was you had an image. And so the AI had to be able to look at an image, interpret that image, and then even have to then generate an image in response to that to help the student walk through the problem. This is only one of many tools that we're working on to help make sure we have student success, because we want to take that 40% graduation rate up to 70% graduation. So thank you, Scott.
Wow, such a cool use case. Let's give it up for Dave. Yeah.